In 2019, the Premier League was watched by 3.2 billion viewers worldwide. The top flight of English football is the most popular sports league in the world and far surpasses other European football leagues in its appeal. But why is the Premier League so popular? In today's video, we will explore how the Premier League became a global football powerhouse. Now, let's get into it. To understand how the Premier League became what it is today, it is important to look at the history of how football was in England before the creation of the Premier League. Before 1992, the top competition in England was the Football League First Division that began in 1888. At this time, the football pyramid was organized as the English 4th Division, 3rd Division, 2nd Division, and 1st Division, where teams would fight for promotion and relegation amongst themselves. But a growing issue began to plague English top-flight football. Beginning in the 1960s and peaking in the 1980s, football hooliganism became widespread throughout England, where fan rivalries transmitted from banter to violence and supporters organized firms or groups that would actively seek out and engage in violence in the name of sport. While this behavior was antisocial, it must be said that it was a wider reflection of England during the 1980s, with economic disparity and social inequity being widespread in the country. The hooligan atmosphere would create an increasingly unsafe environment for the average match-going supporter and contributed to the perception of English football around the globe as both dangerous and unwelcoming. For instance, in the 1960s, the average football match attendance in England was roughly 30,000, compared to around 20,000 by the late 1980s. One of the most notorious examples of hooliganism was the 1985 European Cup final between Liverpool and Juventus, where fighting broke out between English and Italian fans that resulted in the death of at least 35 Juve fans, leading to a 5-year ban from European competition for English clubs. Alongside this behavior was crumbling and unsafe facilities, as well as police forces improperly trained on effective crowd management. An incredibly sad example of this was the 1989 Hillsborough disaster, where 97 Liverpool fans died due to overcrowding while entering the FA Cup semi-final ground as a result of crowd mismanagement by the police. By the early 1990s, it was clear that English football needed a major change, fast. To solve the issues haunting English football during the 1980s, Arsenal chairman David Dein and Greg Dyke began to explore the creation of a new breakaway league. The men were helped by the Football Association, who had also began to worry about an emboldened English First League. The FA's Graham Kelly would aid in sorting out the details and particularities of beginning this breakaway league. And after months of deliberation between the league stakeholders and the clubs, the FA announced the creation of the new league on April 5th, 1991. Naturally, the announcement would be followed by turmoil. However, the cornerstone differences between the English First League and the new league were obvious. First, everything within the new league had to be voted on by the teams involved and passed by a 2/3 majority. Second, TV revenue was divided completely differently, where 50% was shared equally between the clubs, 25% based on the team's league position in the previous season, and 25% based on how many times a team was broadcast during the season. The breakaway league would be named the Premier League, and it was set to begin in August 1992. However, there was one major issue. A TV partner was needed to air the matches in the UK. Catching wind of this opportunity, Sky Sports became interested in securing the TV rights to the Premier League. And with nearly £2 billion of debt in 1992, the broadcaster desperately needed a lifeline. At the time, it was thought that ITV would be the winning broadcaster. However, once the bids came in around May 1992, Sky put in the winning bid for the TV rights, and that following August were the exclusive English broadcaster of the Premier League's first match between Nottingham Forest and Liverpool. Since its creation in 1992, the Premier League has continued to rapidly rise in popularity. But why, you may ask? Well, it is due to a mix of both brilliance and fate. With Sky Sports leading the charge, the Premier League has become the pinnacle of production in sports. Nearly every game, no matter what team is playing, seems to have an air of hype around it. That big game feeling where everything is on the line. The Premier League has also done a fantastic job marketing itself by making viewers feel as if they are at the stadium. From camera angles close to the pitch to microphones that capture a ground's atmosphere, it allows even non-match going supporters to feel as if they are at the game. Additionally, commentators employed by Sky like Martin Tyler became iconic for the sport, where simply hearing a voice made a fan think, "This is the Premier League." As a result of this brilliance, the Premier League's TV rights have become increasingly more expensive. From 2025 to 2029, 3 broadcasters will pay a collective £6.7 billion for the rights to televise live matches and highlights. The increased revenue for English clubs will continue to allow them to attract the biggest players and build the best facilities, further making the Premier League the most attractive in the world. While all of this is great, remember when I said that some of the Premier League's continuing popularity was due to fate? Despite the spectacle that the league has become from the broadcasters, the league was transformed after its creation by the players and managers who decided to join it. From early entertainers like Eric Cantona and Dennis Bergkamp to legendary managers such as Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson, it is hard to imagine the Premier League becoming as popular as it has without these characters. Production value can only go so far when the content on offer is bad. The numerous legendary players and managers have created a sense of nostalgia around the Premier League that keeps fans hooked. For the reasons we have discussed, the league has truly gone global, with fans who have never stepped foot in England being just as passionate as those who grew up in the borough or area that their club plays in. The Premier League has become a common language amongst us all. On its current path, the English top flight will likely only continue to grow in popularity. While football is called the beautiful game, the Premier League might be considered the beautiful league in its current state. For myself, the Premier League is what made me fall in love with the sport and I will be a lifelong fan. Unless, of course, Arsenal get relegated and then I'll start watching the Championship. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Does the Premier League deserve its popularity when compared to other leagues across Europe? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more football content from an American perspective.